Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are in the big problem. Welcome to Joey Talks NBA and other sports. The Milwaukee Bucks are in the big problem. Giannis can be living in free agency, which is he in, or he can get the Supermax deal, or literally he could take one more year. Now, in my opinion, I'm gonna say Giannis would probably stay, but he probably won't. But there's a way that they can do this. Milwaukee Bucks need to rub their shoulders and do this deal quickly. Trade either Eric Bledsoe or George Hill. Why these players? Well, I have reasons. Number one is Eric Bledsoe doesn't fit the Mike Budenholzer, well, how do I say this? Offense. Eric Bledsoe is a great basketball player in general. He just doesn't, like I said before, fit the Mike Budenholzer offense. In general, even if Giannis was in the Miami Heat versus Milwaukee game, they would have lost the game. It didn't matter because Miami kind of handed them that game when Giannis went out. They started to get low on defense like everyone else said it, which is totally true. But going off of that, what I mean by this is that in general, what does Milwaukee need to do to keep Giannis happy? Well, they need to bring in Chris Paul. Why Chris Paul? He's a passer and he can shoot the three. That may be the main problem with, well, the Milwaukee Bucks. Any point guard that you have mostly can pass the ball, shoot the three. Eric Bledsoe can do that all, but his problem is his points are a little bit low. Last game he had 8 points. Chris Middleton had 23 points. That's good. Last game he had 36 points. Him and Brook Lopez were the only scorers that were really scoring points while Giannis was out with the injury. So that takes into account how Eric Bledsoe and didn't do anything, and the rest of the players I looked at in the stat sheet is kind of like Utah's stat sheet. 0, 1 turnover, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. Maybe because they're on the bench, but you really need to see if you can find you a player that can be a passer and a shooter. I mean, look how far Chris Paul has gotten teams like OKC. I'm hoping he'll stay there, but he probably won't. But with him leading how he was leading OKC, I'm pretty sure Milwaukee Bucks are going to might want to sign them real quick because Giannis can leave in free agency. You need to hurry up and sign him because that's kind of like what happened with OKC with Kevin Durant. You didn't decide to hurry up and sign Kevin Durant, try to get, Victor Oladipo or any shooters around Kevin Durant at that time, which left only Kevin Durant, and he said, they're not going to sign nobody? I'll leave then. That's how he left. He had a change of mind and said, I need a change and stuff. That's what happened. So, like I said before, the only way for this team to really actually win is if they get CP3. If they don't, Giannis is going to probably go to Miami. That's the best place for him to go. Because it's the best place for him to go in general because he'll be surrounded by defenders, shooters, and all of that. I love Milwaukee. I hope Milwaukee doesn't boo him if he does leave them because he's been with y'all more than you can expect and he wasn't that kind of franchise player yet. And what I mean by is the one place I don't want Giannis to go to is Golden State because I love how people say it's the right fit for Giannis, but it's not if you think about it that way. Giannis will be surrounded by shooters like Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. That's okay. But he does have a little bit of a jump shot and can run to the rim. What would that really do to Golden State to make them deadly again? When you add Kevin Durant, you have a 7-footer who can shoot over anybody, who can take it into the rim like Giannis, who can pull a 3 like Curry or Ray Allen, any of that. Giannis has a 3, yes, he can do that, but he runs to the rim a lot, and when he does pull a 3, it's pretty good. But like I said before, I'm comparing it to my synopsis. That's what's going to happen. You're really going to have to think, like, oh, wow. And big shout out to Jimmy Butler and Miami Heat because I was hoping they would probably make it this far because this is the farthest Jimmy Butler has actually got to the finals. Last year he made it to round 2. And I'm glad how far he got right now because this is prime Jimmy Butler. I'm sorry to say it. Like last year at Toronto, that was prime Kawhi Leonard. Now we're having a prime Jimmy Butler in the East. And he's going to be there for a long time, like he said. He's not planning on leaving yet because he has a young team he can lead. He has a young team that has 3 shooters that know the offense. He has a great coach and all that. That's what's going to keep the Miami Heat alive, is all that stuff around them. And whatever team they go up against should be ready to face them, including the Clippers. The Clippers should be the main, and Lakers should be the main teams to kind of look like, okay, we're going up against Miami. We got to think, what are we going to do to beat Miami? What were we prepared to do? Because the first game, Miami and Clippers, their first game was a tight game. And the second game, kind of like the Clippers kind of fed into that game and kind of won that game because it kind of took off more. But the game before, the first game they played against each other, it was 122 to 117. That is a close game. Last game wasn't that close, but like I said before, how do I say this? Miami Heat is coming. Don't be afraid, Boston. I'm not even a Boston Celtics fan. So don't be saying I'm trashing on my team. I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. Boston Celtics fans should be worried. Because if Miami Heat upsets you guys, because they did a friendly sweep on Milwaukee. They swept Indiana. If they sweep maybe, or take y'all, what I'm saying is, if it's Boston or Toronto, it'll probably go to a game 7 for either one, or maybe a game 6 for either one team. I'm thinking like a 4-2 on each side, which one will win. To come out the West, I want to say the Clippers. The Clippers, but the Lakers probably because, LeBron's a little bit more experienced going up against teams. But that could also be the downfall because JaVale McGee's experienced, but not many people on the Clippers have really been to the finals. And only Kawhi, in my book, has the only one that's been to the finals. I don't know any player on that team that's won a ring who's been to the finals. So Kawhi is the only player with that experience. On other dynasties, you had players who have been to the finals. When they're building a dynasty and they make it to the title, you have players who've been to titles. And sometimes it's enough to reach it, but Toronto in general, the reason that they made it was because that they were hungry that year, and Kyle Lowry kind of set the with Kawhi. But yeah, that's the reason why. So yeah, Miami is a big upsetter. But going into my opinion, like I said before, the Bucks really need to get CP3 because Chris Middleton is a good number 2, but as a number 3, he'll definitely rise to the occasion. Now, this will also help because if Giannis goes out with injury, you have CP3 or Chris Middleton. If CP3 goes out with injury, you have Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Giannis goes out with an injury, you have Chris Middleton. And they have these role players like Brook Lopez, all of them. But they won't. They just need a passer and a shooter. Eric Bledsoe, to me, isn't that kind of passer, dude, shooter. And you have to be the player to know when to do it. So this might be the best time to get some player like him. And that's the main player to get. CP3. If he doesn't leave OKC, feel bad for you. So you guys need to, sorry Milwaukee, make the move quick. I'll see you guys next time on Joey Talks. And what did you think of this video? This is the first in a lot of videos of mine that aren't related to Comment 6. Talk about the NBA and NFL. And let me know, should I do more? Hit the like button and subscribe.